My name is unimportant. Just know it's not my sister's name. My age is unimportant. Just know it is the same as yours and not my sister's. Do you remember the day we were together? We were sitting cross-legged at a low table in a room familiar to neither of us, and especially not to my sister. The moon reflected off of the ocean. We were watching through the bay windows. We said nothing, but everything was said, and it was said without my sister being there. You were there. You were like a cloud the way you floated just a little too close to the ground. So maybe more like fog. And I liked that, the way we were both floating too close to the ground in an act one might call sitting. And we were both definitely there. And my sister was absolutely not. And so you were there. And I was there. And we were there together. And my sister was not. It was late, and I said I had to go home for medical reasons, but you shushed me with a finger on your left hand because you're left-handed, and so am I. And the world shook. And I shook. Because I was shook. And you were there. And I was there. And you were there. And my sister was not. In your other left hand, you were holding exactly one apple the wrong way, and the red was on the outside, and the seeds were on the inside, along with an old memory of that trip to summer camp, when he jumped into the lake and I was there and my sister was not. But I was there, and so were you. And so was I. I was there, and you were there too. And the apple was as beautiful as the day is young. And we laughed. And my sister didn't. And I looked at you, and you looked at me. And nobody looked at my sister because she wasn't there. And you asked if I had an older sister, and I said I'm an only child. And you kept holding that thought in your left hand because you're left-handed, because you write with your left hand, because that's what we lefties do, not like my sister who was right-handed. It was a metaphor for, and I loved you like the moon loves the sun, and that we have never met. And I told you I embarrassed myself in front of the entire school because I'm not as funny as I think I am. But to be fair, neither is my sister. And you should remember because you were there. We were both there in the gym. I was also there, but I wish I hadn't been. But I was. I was there. And you were there. I was there. And you were there. My sister, however, was not. And then your phone went off, and there was someone on the other end who was trying to get a hold of you. Someone who's not me, who's not you, who's not my sister. You looked at the screen and smiled in fear, and you leaned forward to whisper in my ear, but it was the wrong one because I'm half deaf. I'll never know what you said to me, but I was happy anyway because neither will my sister. I was happy to be there with you, and you were happy to be there with me, and we were happy there together despite my sister not being there. And it was because you were there, and because I was there, because you were there, because I was there. And you were there, and I was there, and you were there, and I was there, and you were there. It's wonderful how we both managed to be there together, with just each other, without my sister. And I loved you like the moon loves the sun in the way that we give each other the right amount of space, being exactly 91,341,565.2589 miles away from each other. And like the sun, your light spanned the length of a dinner table. And like the moon, I was quiet. And like the sun, your brilliance melted my eyes, giving me chronic pain and the promise of optometrical involvement in the near future. And like the moon, nobody cares about the moon, because the moon doesn't give life but prolonged suffering. The moon doesn't provide for any form of life. And I thought about that as I watched the waves. But I looked up and you were still there. And I was still there. And you were there. And I was there. And you said you were cold, always cold like a classroom with an overcompensating thermostat. And I was a fire person, and when I hugged you, you burst into steam. I missed you, because you were there, and I was there, and 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 you were there, and I was there. That night you said something to me that I didn't think I'd ever forget, but I forgot it immediately. I remember that night, and that you were there, and that I was there. And you were there, and I was there, 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 and you were 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 there. You were there, and 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 you were there. You were there, you were there, and you were there, and you were there, you were there, and 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 you were there. And then I woke up, and you weren't there. But my sister was.